I'm Coach John Shepherd, and in this video we're going to take a look at some of the performances from the recent Bedford Games where some of my group were competing. In doing so, I hope that you'll be able to learn more about the technical requirements of the long and triple jump. If you've been watching the recent Training in the Sun videos, you'll have seen Jahisha and James training in Portugal, and you're also going to see them competing here. You'll also see some other of the UK's top long and triple jumpers competing, such as Nathan Douglas, who's been over 17 metres. Despite being a master jumper now, Nathan still gets great range between his phases and shows how to extend and create speed between them. James is just getting back into competition and everything went reasonably well. He had problems coming into the board and setting up the takeoff, so his positions were too low on the penultimate step here, and this resulted in a slowing into the jump. For Jahisha, it was a case of trying to get some of the range of movement and extension that Nathan was able to achieve. Now, we've been working on it on training, but in that jump there was a definite collapse coming out of the hop there, see? So the momentum is obviously going to be lost. If you look closely, you'll see that James starts to go long over the last couple of strides into the board again, so this results in a slowing down through the takeoff, although as I indicate there, it was better than the previous effort. Here's a long no jump from Jack Roach, who ultimately won the competition with a 7 metres 80 wind assisted effort. In round 3, Jahisha began to get into her technique a little bit better and held the step more for a jump that went over 13 metres 30, but if you look closely you'll see that she wasn't quite on the board. Lifts the thigh up, gets a bit more length on the step this time. Here's Alice Hopkins, and you'll see that she has great eccentric ability off of the board. The free thigh could move more in front of her as she takes off though. Jahisha continued to build into the competition and used one of her strongest assets on this jump, her speed. I'd been telling her to increase it to see if she could cope with the forces, and she carried that speed through the phases. Her range of movement, her drive off of the hop was pretty good, and there is some lift going into the step phase. However, she needs to be a bit more active coming out of the step into the jump again to maintain momentum. We've been working on holding the thigh in the step phase in training recently, and this does seem to have borne fruit in the competition. But having just said what I've said, it's important to hold the thigh and reach into the contact out of the step. Otherwise you may just go up and down. Here's Wales' Rebecca Chapman, who's blessed with great speed. However, when she takes off, there is rotation, and this seems to ensue over the last couple of steps where the arms don't move fully through the last 2 steps. The shoulders also rotate, and this creates a hampered position off of the board. James was starting to build in confidence and managed to maintain more speed through the board. You can see though the slight dip is still there on takeoff. Albeit that was a no jump, it was around the 750 mark. Here's Alex Farquharson, and he jumped 756 in the competition using a 2.5 stride hitch kick. He goes a little bit vertical and perhaps needs to hold his takeoff position again. Jahisha's 5th round jump was 13 metres 66. Unfortunately, it was wind assisted, otherwise it would have been a Commonwealth Games selection distance. Unfortunately, again in the 6th round, Jahisha collapsed coming out of the hop. So we've got to look for another competition. In the final round, James managed to maintain more speed through the takeoff and ended up with his best legal jump of 7 metres 44. However, I still identify perhaps a little bit too much of a sitting on the penultimate. And also in the final round, with wind assistance, Rebecca went out to 6 meters 33. Watch the arms cross the chest and then how that affects the takeoff. Well, I hope this overview of some of the jumps from the recent Bedford Games will help you and your jumping. You can focus on some of the technical points that are good and some of the ones that I've identified as being needed to be worked on. If you've any particular questions on the subject matter of this video, or indeed any of my others, then do leave a comment in the section below or through my other social media. And do please subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon so that you'll be notified as to when I upload new content. And as I usually say, good luck with your training and competitions. And if you're interested in the extremely portable and accurate free-lap timing system, then do drop me a message. The system is accurate to 2/1000 of a second and can time end times and split times.